Hello, welcome. This is Behind the Scenes on June 27th, 2026. A real-time reflection or moment from the season of writing my memoir. Today turned out to be a much more productive day than I expected. It was my day off and my dad's day off too. Normally I probably wouldn't have wanted I would have wanted the house to myself so I could write in peace. But instead of getting frustrated, I decided to do something different. I asked him if he'd be willing to sit with me while I read the chapters I have thus far, out loud. I currently have chapters 1 through 3 finished and a very rough draft of chapter 4, and a few pieces in different ones. He was more than happy to help. One thing I've learned about myself throughout this writing journey is that when I read my work out loud, something happens. More memories come back, more details surface. It's almost like reading it out loud unlocks another layer of the story. It's pretty cool. And I'm sure that happens to a lot of people. That's just how my brain works. The hardest part is simply sitting down and beginning. Once I start reading, everything else just seems to follow. So as I read through the chapters, I found myself getting emotional again. Not because they made me sad, but because they reminded me of how far I've come. Seems to be the theme of me, huh? Anyhow, every time I revisit these chapters, it's like I'm transported back to those seasons of my life. And lately I've been having a little bit more and more moments like that. Moments where I feel proud, moments where I feel grateful, moments where I quietly think, wow, I really made it through all of that. I truly believe God has been using those moments to remind me that I'm on the right path and that He's been with me through every season and that He's still guiding me now. But something else happened. For months I've been trying to fit one of those most intense seasons of my life into 3 chapters. Okay, well, I guess everything about that season was pretty intense for like 2 or 3 years. Anyways, but specifically for 15 months. Countless experiences at the beginning, so much vulnerability, so much that shaped who I became. And as I sat there reading everything out loud, I realized that those 3 chapters are simply just not enough. Not enough space. So I think without realizing it, that I had been rushing through that part of my story. Maybe because it's the hardest part to write, or maybe because it's the most vulnerable. But if I'm going to tell the truth, I need to give that season the space it deserves. And strangely, that brought me to peace. It's not about worrying about if anyone believes me or not. I mean, I had walked through those moments, and that to most is unbelievable. The whole point of this book is to write my story that God has paved for me to share, and to share His love through it all, to share that there is dark to navigate through, but rest assured, He is always present and always with you. So now I'm back to par. I wasn't stuck. Well, I'm not stuck anymore. I know where to go next. I also shared another idea with my dad that I've been holding on to for a while, since the beginning of my decision of writing my book. I've decided not to name the chapters until the book is completely finished. I want the titles to come last because I have a vision. Okay, hear me out. Basically, when someone opens the title of contents and reads every chapter from the beginning to the end of my book, I want them to flow together, almost like one continuous thought. One final message that captures the heart of the entire book. And I already know what the title of chapter 19 is going to be, which is going to be the last chapter of my book. It'll simply be Well, I know I said I wasn't going to name chapters, but this is the chapter I do know. And it ends on chapter 19, and the book ends with, "Thank you, God." That's my chapter 19 title. Because that's how the journey ends. With gratitude. Not just for the destination, but for every step that brought me here. Now, let me take that back a little bit about the journey ending. It's never ending. But the next chapter is always beginning. You're always moving forward. You're always growing. So yes, today was a very productive mentally, and today reminded me that sometimes we don't need more motivation. We need more room. More room for the story. More room for growth. More room to let the journey become what it's meant to become along the way. And I think that's exactly what happened today. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here and supporting me. You are much appreciated. Until next time, ta-ta.